Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to inform you that I will be splitting my time with the member for L'Unière Chute de la Chauvière. Mr. Speaker, when I rise in the House to address an issue, I'm pleased to do so. But I'm not tonight. I say, Mr. Speaker, because the very serious shortage of medically necessary drugs that has brought us to this emergency debate could have been mitigated if only Sandoz Canada had planned ahead and been transparent with its customers. And I must say, the more I learn about the company's behavior, the angrier I get. We have discussed every aspect of the drug shortage issue tonight. We understand that it's a complex global phenomenon with many causes. We know of the strenuous work that our Minister of Health had done to bring purchasers and suppliers together to find cooperative Canadian solutions to this global challenge. Solutions based on information sharing and solid contingency planning. Direct, efficient solutions based on a clear and logical understanding of how the drug approval and supply system works in Canada. The Minister's goal has been to help ensure that the right information gets into right hands at the right time, so that advanced planning and notice can take place, so that alternative sources of supply can be found, and treatment plans for patients can be adjusted if necessary. But, Mr. Speaker, as I read a newspaper over the weekend, warning systems don't work too well when the warning comes too late. And Sandoz did not clearly, early enough, to appropriately warn about looming shortage until it was too late to avoid it. Last November, 4 months ago, Sandoz was notified by the US FDA of concerns about production quality standards related to one product at its Boucherville plant. This product is not even produced for the Canadian market. Similar FDA findings were made about the Sandoz plants in the United States. And it is important to note that at no time did the FDA find that the production issues were of such gravity to require Sandoz to cease production at any of these facilities. As we all know, Sandoz is a virtual sole supplier of many medically necessary drugs to hospitals and clinics across the country. Mr. Speaker, you and I know that now, because of the painful events of the past few weeks, and Sandoz was presumably aware of that fact in November. Nonetheless, before mid of February, the company did not give full details of its plan to shut down its plant in Boucherville. This is especially concerning, considering it will have major supply consequences for all Canadians. Following up on the FDA findings, Health Canada inspected the plant and found it to be compliant with our rules for safe quality production. And the department's officials held discussions with the company about how it planned to address the FDA findings. But never during those discussions were the full details or plans of the company production cutback revealed. That is until February 15. That's when Sandoz simultaneously informed Health Canada and its customers that it was significantly cutting the output of medically necessary products from the plant. When the company was asked what alternative sources of supply it had secured to make up shortfalls for customers, it said that it was starting to do that. Mr. Speaker, the company drops a bombshell like this on a Canadian healthcare system and then says it's just starting to identify other suppliers? Mr. Speaker, Sandoz did not even include an estimate of how long the shortages will last. They had to be asked. Mr. Speaker, the House has been aware of the work that the Minister has done to encourage drug makers to be more transparent with customers and Canadians about drug shortages. Early last fall, she received a commitment from several professional and industry associations for a voluntary plan to provide more timely, accurate and comprehensive information about drug shortages to healthcare professionals and patients across Canada. Sandoz Canada is a member of the Canadian Generic Pharmaceutical Association, which contributed to the development of this plan. But I have to say, Mr. Speaker, that Sandoz' abject failure to date to provide clear, precise and timely information on the massive impact of its production cutback is completely contrary to the spirit of principles of the pledge made in the fall. The information provided to Health Canada officials, the media and the public has been at best reactive, fragmented and incomplete. As a result of this information vacuum, health care providers across the country find themselves having to piece together the full scope and extent of the supply situation and scramble to maintain patient care. Hospitals and clinics, bulk drug purchasers, provincial and territorial governments, and Health Canada have had to poke and prod Sandoz at every turn. Supply pledges made by the company have frequently not been met by distributors. Sandoz has promised to provide updated supply information to health professionals, but their worried calls to Health Canada for help indicate that either the information or the supply or both are not getting through. Then on Sunday, March 4th, Health Canada became aware of a fire at the Boucherville plant through media reports. Health Canada also received an email from Sandoz on March 4th confirming that there had been a fire. Health Canada urged Sandoz to go public with information about the fire, especially with their customers, the provinces and territories. When it became clear that information was not forthcoming, Health Canada advised the provinces and territories of the fire at noon on March 6th. At the urging of Health Canada, and only after Health Canada had advised the provinces, Sandoz finally issued a press release March 6th. Only then did they publicly concede that the fire was had forced a suspension of all production at the plant for at least a week. Mr. Speaker, it took the company almost 3 weeks after the February 15 notification to deliver to Health Canada submissions for alternative supplies to be assessed for safety and effectiveness. Health Canada is expediting its authorization process during the shortage to help hospitals and doctors access alternative sources of supply. Through the various networks supported by the health portfolio, we have been taking a leadership role by bringing together purchasers, provinces, territories, healthcare professionals and Sandoz to exchange the latest information on supply and to ensure that our collective efforts to address shortages are coordinated. Health Canada's team of experts assigned to deal with shortage requests. We are providing guidance to purchasers so they have a clear understanding of the safety information we require when a new source of supply is found. Through our cooperative relationship with other trusted regulators with high safety standards like Canada, such as US Food and Drug Administration and the European Medicines Agency, we have ready access to a wealth of information that would expedite our approval of foreign sources. But I want to assure Canadians, Mr. Speaker, that notwithstanding these urgent circumstances, we will never compromise safety. Okay, Mr. Speaker, I guess I have a minute. I will try to conclude quickly. We will never compromise safety. The last thing anyone wants for its patients is to be harmed by unsafe drugs authorized in a rush to supply gaps. Mr. Speaker, in Canada, the federal government has taken a leadership role in encouraging enhanced cooperation among all players in the drug approval and supply system. The Sandoz situation shows there is still a lot of work to improve information sharing and contingency planning by purchasers and suppliers. It is still our hope that this will happen. We believe that a voluntary purchaser-supplier solution is the most effective and efficient way to handle shortages. But if necessary, the government will regulate mandatory advance notification in order to ensure Canadians get the information they need and deserve. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments? L'honorable député de Rimouski-Nejet-Témiscouata-Basque.
Je suis heureux que mon collègue d'en face parler de la question de l'information, puisqu'effectivement, c'est un manque d'information qui a été l'un des éléments centraux du problème qu'on vit présentement. Cependant, j'ai posé une question auparavant, j'aimerais la reposer parce que j'ai vraiment pas eu de réponse jusqu'ici. Mon collègue vante le système de déclaration volontaire d'une pénurie potentielle. Aux États-Unis, on s'en va dans une direction où on va avoir un système obligatoire pour que les compagnies doivent annoncer qu'elles seront en pénurie de certains médicaments. Et même le Congrès parle d'imposer des amendes allant jusqu'à 1,8 million de dollars pour les compagnies qui n'auront pas annoncé au moins 6 mois à l'avance qu'elles pourraient avoir une pénurie. Alors j'aimerais savoir comment est-ce que le député peut justifier un système volontaire où les compagnies peuvent ou ne peuvent pas déclarer de pénurie par rapport à un système obligatoire qui leur donne des responsabilités desquelles elles pourraient être imputables.
Member for Mississauga East Cooksville.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know how many times in this House during this debate it was mentioned that we are dealing with provincial jurisdiction. Health Canada is not involved in contracts with drug companies to buy drugs for hospitals or clinics or doctors. However, if the honourable member listened to my speech, I would repeat the last sentence. If necessary, the government will regulate mandatory advance notification in order to assure Canadians get the information they need and deserve. Thank you.
Questions and comments? The honourable member for Vancouver Centre.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I am actually getting quite confused about what the provincial and federal jurisdictions are. I thought I knew where they were because I used to be a minister in a government, and I thought I understood that very well when I went to federal, provincial, territorial meetings. But because on the one hand I hear the provinces saying that, you know, the federal government had a duty to warn us earlier. So obviously the provinces think that the federal government should be the group that warned them. And then the minister said that she realizes that if she had known sooner, she would have warned the provinces sooner. So we're getting mixed messages here. It is obvious that the minister believes that it was her duty to inform the provinces about the problem, and that it is her duty to find substitution drugs, and it is her duty to do a lot of things. So how can the minister believe she has a duty today and then say it's a provincial jurisdiction in the next breath?
The honourable member for Mississauga East Cooksville.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I would like to thank the member opposite for her question. And she mentioned that she's been around for a long time and on the government side, and I'm surprised she is actually asking a question because the regulations are where they were when she was on the government side. Therefore, nothing has changed in that respect. The responsibility of federal government, regulatory responsibility to regulate the safety of the drugs. But honourable member knows very well that all the contracts, all the purchases are done by the province or provincial bodies under provincial jurisdiction. And this, well, to answer the question, the minister showed up the great leadership to help in a situation in any respect and in any way she can. And that's great leadership. Thank you very much.
The comments? The honourable member for Kildonan St. Paul.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member for his very insightful commentary on this very important issue tonight. But I would like the member to inform this House, Mr. Speaker, where can Canadians find out the most up-to-date information on the Sandoz shortage? Because I know there is a place where that can be done.
Member for Mississauga East Cooksville.
Mr. Speaker, Sandoz currently is providing regular updates on the supply situation to its provincial and territorial customers. And for information on any actual or potential local impacts, we encourage Canadians to contact their local healthcare authorities and their healthcare professional. Sandoz is committed to posting the information for health professionals on current and potential drug shortages and on its websites. on the existing public website, the University of Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan Drug Information Services, and Raptures and Medicaments of Canada. And this information can be found very easily and accessed.
All right, please, today.